friends. Welcome back to another episode of my weekly WIPS, Strokes of Sunshine. Thanks for being here. We are going to look at what I'm working on today. We're going to do some coloring with makeup, and we're going to do a little inspiration at the end for our week, my little rays of sunshine that I like to do to end the video. So let's go ahead and get started with what I've been working on. I want to show 2 pages that I actually did not get to this month, and I am putting them out there so that I hopefully get to them next month. The first one is in my Christine Perrin Fairy and Fantasy, and we are hoping to do this page. So I did finalize the color palette that I wanted to use for that. And then I have started picking out some colors. I still have a few more that I want to look at, but this is kind of where I think I'm being led. But yeah, I love this little Elflings shelter. Was really hoping to get it done in April, but I just don't think it's gonna happen, and that's okay. There's still plenty of rain that happens in May. So hopefully I will get to that one next month. Another one that I'm really hoping to get to is in Mythographic Fantasy Forest, and it is this one. So I have some ideas with this one, and I really want to use my ink tints on this some too. So this is the color palette that I had selected a couple weeks ago for that. So 2 pages that did not get started as WIPs, but I'm hopeful maybe even in the next week I can get those started. Fingers crossed. We'll see. See what happens. All right. I was able to finish a couple WIPs. And the first one was the page that we worked on last week, where I colored with my Langwo, not colored, I painted with my Langwo gel pens. So if you missed that video, it is my last video, episode 2, but I painted the leaves and the flowers with those pens and showed how to do that. It was a lot of fun experimenting with that technique. And then I just went in and finished it with a little bit of highlight from some gel pens, added some rhinestones to the flowers, and then used watercolor mostly on this butterfly here, some golds and some purples. And then, of course, added a few more little rhinestones to that sweet butterfly as well. So lots of fun experimenting with that. I am looking forward to doing some more Langwo acrylic painting with my pens in the future. But I'd love to hear if you guys tried it and what you thought. Ironically, the other page I finished was butterflies too. But it is in this Forestcore book, and if you remember last week, all I had left was the butterflies. And I really went back and forth on how to color them. I actually started with these 2 with the multiple colors, and just felt like I needed to maybe not do so many colors, and just went with the purples. But I like the combination of some multicolored butterflies and some just more ombre looking purple butterflies. And of course, I'm really in a rhinestone mood, guys. So a lot of my pages have rhinestones right now, but I am happy with how that one turned out this week as well. So this week there was a lot of time spent at mom and dad's. If you watched my video last week, you know my sweet mama was in the hospital. She's since home. But we have a lot of home health aides coming, and therapists and so forth for her. And so between that time with them, and then also lots of time in the car at soccer practices and theater stuff and on the road for soccer games over the weekend, I took this book and just kind of played in it. I have certain books that I will take with me if I'm leaving, and then I have books that I'm like, nope, they're not going to leave because I don't want to get them bent, or I don't have all the supplies that I want for that page. So this week was a lot of just like minimal coloring in a way where I either have an old alcohol marker set that I took and kind of played with those, or my Crayola Super Tips. So that's kind of what this book has become, is just a play. I did this one when I was gone. I picked this color palette. Not sure I love this page, to be honest with you. It kind of makes me cringe when I open it. But I did use my other alcohol marker set I have for this page, and then just some Language gel pens, a smaller set that I have to take, and my Castle Art colored pencils. But it's fine. It was just something to do while I was waiting for kids and everything, but probably would not use this color palette again. It was not my favorite, but it's okay. Then the other one that I did in this page that or in this book that I'm working on is this one. Again, used those budget-friendly alcohol markers, and then have been doing a little bit of shading with Castle Art pencils and some Language gel pens. This book is just easy to kind of throw in a bag and have it on the go. It's, they're bigger pictures, not lots of details that make it tricky if I'm in the car or something to color, but this one's still a WIP. I'm not done with this one, obviously. And then I have another one we're going to play with today that I started on. So that is Monomania coloring book 5. I'm still working in Rita Berman's Hidden Earth. I don't think that I did anything else on this one yet, but I'm really hopeful that I can finish this the first week of May. I think I have my plan for the rest of it. I just need to have the time to sit down and finish this with some of the supplies that I need at my house to do so, but this has been a fun page to work on as well. So still in progress with that one. And then the other book I took with me to soccer this week was this one. I actually love this book, but I really wanted to try out I really wanted to work with my Neocolor twos. I feel like I am such a beginner with those, and sometimes I have great success and sometimes it's just a flop. So this book is perfect because there's lots of space for backgrounds, but it's Gnomes in the Neighborhood, and the page that I worked on was this one. And I had my small set of Neocolor 2s. I just have like the 15 set. And then my Crayola Super Tips. That's what I took in the car with me while I sat at soccer practice. And to be honest, I started with the background and I just kind of did, you can see some of the line scribbles there that I did. And when I went to activate it, it was like, it would not move on this page. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And the water just kept getting absorbed into the paper. I mean, you can see it's pretty warped. But I was like, oh, I've ruined it already. Having even started it and I've ruined it. So I just kind of left everything and went on to the flowers and the gnome with the Crayola Super Tips, and then decided to go back and use the pigment off the Neocolor 2 right off onto the paintbrush. I would paint it off of the crayon onto the paintbrush and then kind of stipple that into the paper where I wanted those colors to be. And you can still see some of the scribbly lines. So I might have to go over with another layer eventually, but I am enjoying this so much more than what it looked like at the beginning, because at the beginning I was like, oh my gosh, I might have to tear this paper out. No, I probably wouldn't do that. But it also shows that you can just keep playing with it. So don't stop a page because you think that it's like ruined in the first few minutes. I got to get over that. I got to get over, like, if I make a little mistake or something goes outside of the lines a little bit, but I'm like, it's okay. It's all good. But she's super fun. I'm excited to continue this page. I need to do some shading. Obviously have some elements that I still need to color, and I don't know, I'm still thinking about the background if I want to add anything else or not. But again, this book has lots of great pages in it, but it also has space to do backgrounds. You know, this would be a great page to try clouds and play with, with that. This is another little one that I've picked out some color palettes for. It's pretty cute. But I also like that this book has seasonal things, another great space just to play and work with some of your mediums that you may not have been able to try in different ways. So yeah, it's a super cute book. I don't think that this is technically in print anymore. I was able to find this on eBay. Another great background page. But so if this is one that you would like, in your collection, I would suggest probably eBay would be your best bet. But I'm excited to see where this one goes. I also am getting better with my Crayola Super Tips. They kind of frustrated me at the beginning because they were streaky and I didn't know if I liked that, but I'm getting better at how to manage them on the page, and how to put them, you know, in the spaces so that they don't feel as streaky. And then there's other times if it's an element that the streakiness actually adds to the texture and the depth of the object, then that is kind of cool. But yeah, I'm definitely learning. That is fun, and I'm happy with this so far. So okay, so that is my last whip. Okay, so let's do some coloring. I thought it would be fun today to do a little bit of coloring with makeup. I have a couple pages in this book that I've already done that on. The first one is the background of this fairy heart. So this entire inside of this heart is eyeshadow. And then I also did that on my latest How I Colored video in this Trollina page. So again, eyeshadow in the oval part of this page. And then I backed a page. So this is just a while ago. This Forestcore book with eyeshadow as well. So it is just so fun to play with different mediums and to think like, what else is in my house that I could possibly use on my coloring pages. But I thought that we would work on a couple pages today. So the first book I have is Monomania, and I have this page that I started. Thought we would just do some little backgrounds behind these flowers today. And I have a couple different eyeshadow palettes that we will probably be using. I've got this, excuse me. I've got, both of them are from You Can Be. This is Pretty All-Star Set, and this is Spotlight. And I'll just kind of show those to you because I'll probably have those off camera, but this is a fold out eyeshadow palette with lots of great colors. And then this Spotlight has lots of great bold, fun colors as well. And I actually have these palettes because my youngest son is in theater, and we have lots of productions and lots of stage makeup and things that we have to do. And so these are palettes from that. But that is what I will be using today. All right, so I thought I would do two colors, a lighter and a darker, and I'm just going to use these pan pastel or soft pastel tools. I got these on Amazon, and they have these little sponge applicators just like you would for makeup, that comes with like an extra, I think 20 or 30 of them, so they have plenty, but they work really good. I like the pointed ones because you can get into those really small spaces there. All right, let's start with this one. I think we'll do lighter pink on top and then move down to the darker pink on the bottom. And I can show you, I just went in with this light pink color right here, and then I'm going to use this on the side in a second. But yeah, so life just continues to be busy for me here. We are getting Mom more acclimated to being home. We have lots of in-home health coming. Oh, my alarm's going off. Excuse me. So sorry. I have to set myself different reminders when things don't happen in life right now. So that's just my reminder. But yeah, we're getting Mom settled back at home. We have quite a bit of visitors coming with home health and her therapies, and that's just kind of been a daily task right now for her, and she's working so hard, and she just inspires me so much, and I hope someday that I can inspire my kids the way that she has continued to inspire me in her life. And if you did not see last week's video, my mom had a horrible fall, and she has Alzheimer's, and my dad and my sister and I ended up being in the hospital with her for about 5.5 days. But again, she's doing much, much better, and I'm so grateful for that, and just hope it continues. But we are trying to support her in all the ways that she needs that right now, and then I'm still trying to show up in the ways that I need to be mom right now. My kids and all their activities, and it's the end of the school year, and you know what that means? Craziness with activities and what ends up being on your plate with end of the year parties and end of the year fun days and all the things that they need for those, and projects that need to be finished. And so we have been busy over here, but I just continue to try to find time for myself, because I know that I am so much better if I'm not pouring from an empty cup. And that is sometimes challenging at where I find myself in life right now, but I'm doing the best I can. So I am going in just with this Mono Zero eraser. If we get a little bit outside, this seems to be working very, very well. I don't have an electric razor right now, but if I did, I'm sure that would work too, if you have one of those. But if you get a little bit outside the lines, all is well. And I also have tried putting pencil on top of this eyeshadow, and it works well too. So I'm definitely go in and do some shading. All right, so now I'm going in with that darker pink color at the bottom. And I'm just going to mix that and blend that up into that lighter pink color. And these eyeshadow palettes, for the price, just kind of amaze me how pigmented they are. I think they're like $10, maybe $12. The trifold one might have been a little bit more, but you get a lot of colors. And for me, this all started because I was watching so many videos of people using pan pastels on their coloring pages, and I love them. And someday I hope to own them, but I don't own those right now. And so I was trying to be creative with things that I do own. And my sister and I, when we were little, we would make Barbie clothes out of Kleenex and paper towels, and we would color on them, and we would use makeup on them, and all the things. And that's how we would make a lot of our Barbie clothes when we couldn't get, we didn't have a plethora of Barbie clothes for our Barbies, so we created our own. And that was one thing our mom taught us, is how to be very, very resourceful, I feel like. And to think about, what do you have and what can you do with it? I had a grandpa who was very brilliant, and he built his first car, he built his first house, and was always creating things out of nothing. Later in life, he took their old washing machine and dryer and made them into the shelving unit. You would have never known that they were a washer and dryer at one point. It was incredible, just because he believed, he was a depression baby, and he believed that you do not waste anything. And that man could make something out of nothing always. It was just brilliant. Like, it was amazing. But yeah, so I'd like to think I have a little bit of those genes in me that tries to be resourceful and come up with things. But this has definitely been fun to try in my coloring book. So I'm just trying to blend those colors a little bit more seamless, made together. But yeah, so pretty. Okay. So I am going to change. I grabbed extra ones. Normally I would just change this tip out every time, but for the video's sake, I grabbed some extra colors here. Okay. For the yellow, probably we'll just do these two colors. And see how that goes. Maybe I'll do a little bit of the super pale yellow to begin. Let's see, the very top color was calling me for the top here. Like that. That's good. Okay. I think we'll do that just as a little bit of a highlight at the top, and then we'll go into the other two colors. So yeah, that is life right now. It's just busyness of mom being busy with mom and being busy as a mom myself, and then trying to also find time to be a wife, right? And show up in those capacities as well. But I'm definitely in a season of busyness and where a lot of people need me. And just trying to navigate all of that. We have some family coming in town this weekend, and I'm so excited. My mom's sister is actually flying in and gets to see her, and I think that will be so good for my aunt to put her eyes on my mom and just see her in person. And it'll be so wonderful to see my aunt. It's been about a year since she was able to come out the last time, and we just are excited for that. There's been a lot of changes with Mama in that last year, and so I think it's important that my aunt gets to come out and spend some time with her. It'll probably be pretty chill, you know. We won't be doing a whole lot with all that's going on, but it'll be fun to sit around and just visit, and catch up, and just to get some good family time together. Have some soccer games that we've got to go to for my oldest. And speaking of soccer, that was one thing last weekend we had. My oldest is a competitive soccer player, and we were out of town, about 3 hours away last weekend. And my youngest stayed back here with my parents. And in the middle of the game, my phone started going off for tornado warnings back home. So, of course, my youngest was calling me because he's concerned about that and wondering, you know, what is going to happen to our sweet puppy at home and all the things. God bless his little animal loving heart. And I just reassured him how smart animals are and how instinctive they are, and that she would go where she needs to be. But navigating all of that 3 hours away with him was hard, just because I wanted to be with him, reassure him that all was going to be well. In the meantime, we're sitting outside of the soccer game, and definitely cloudy and stormy, but not to the extent that they were experiencing. So it was really nice to get home that night and just be able to reassure him that we were good and he was good, and get him home to see that our puppy was good. But yeah, have not experienced that before, and we live in the Midwest, and there have been a lot of storms this season. It just seems like a big difference to the amount that we have had compared to years in the past. So I don't know where you guys are, but if you've had some storms where you are, let me know, because I feel like we've been in our basement a lot more than normal. A lot more. Okay, for purple, I'm going to go in with this one and this one, I think. this, you can see I have used it on this side for colors. So you can switch them on the back side too. So you really get, it's a 2-in-1 special, guys. So you guys will have to let me know. I'm still kind of getting my bearings on these weekly WIP videos. I'm sure there's like maybe things that you are interested about or want to know about, and I would love to know what are those things. It's kind of awkward to put on the camera and just start talking to yourself and about yourself. Excuse me. I'm gonna get a drink. But oh my goodness, I love watching other people's videos and having them color and just hearing about their lives. It just kind of makes you feel like you're getting to know them, and it's just enhancing that community that we have in the coloring community. And I love it. But it's just not natural for me to be like, okay, here we go, guys. I'm gonna tell you my life story. So let me know if you have any questions or things that you would like to know. I thought about maybe doing a couple more video specific style conversations in the future. I'm sure it will come along more naturally as I go, but you have to be a beginner somewhere, and I'm definitely a beginner in this process in so many ways right now, and I'm trying to embrace that and be okay with that, and know that you can only grow from here. And that is the goal. That is the things that you want to know or topics you want me to cover. Be sure to let me know that in the comments. I probably could sit and talk about my family and my kids all day long because they're my everything. But I don't know if you guys want me to sit and talk about that. Or if you just want to hear about coloring or what I've been doing or what I've been reading or when I can watch what I've been watching, when I have time to do that. But yeah, we will build that circle, and we will figure that out as we go. All right, I'm gonna go in with this darker purple color, guys. And I hope that you are enjoying seeing how you can use just about anything in your coloring pages. It can be fun. And what's exciting about this is the experimental process. And not really knowing what's gonna happen or how it's gonna react. So this book is just Amazon paper, and it is going on very smoothly and working extremely well on that. So and the Christine Karen book is also Amazon paper. I feel like the Forestcore book is a little bit thicker paper, but I wouldn't say it necessarily handles like mediums super well. But again, I mean, sometimes you get little happy mistakes like that's just a nice little shading there. Maybe I go in with some of my purple super tips and do a little bit of purple shading on those leaves afterwards. Sometimes you get things like that. This looks good. Or you can take the eyeshadow here and just put a little bit of purple on those leaves. Love that. Okay. So those are turning out so cute. Yay. All right. We've got blue. Let's see. Okay. I probably will do this blue and this blue. And so for the most part, I have been using these eyeshadows as backgrounds. I haven't really used them for coloring pictures yet. I think that would be my next step, is to like actually see what happens if I'm using these more on the elements versus just the backgrounds. And seeing what mediums I can maybe put over them to layer with. I think that would be fun to try. So maybe in another video, let me know if you want to see more makeup coloring, more eyeshadow coloring. I think it would be fun to get a neon palette of eyeshadows and pull in some neon watercolors and some neon soft pastels and just make like a really awesome neon picture. I did a watercolor flower picture a month or so ago that can glow in the black lights and stuff, and it turned out so fun. So maybe I wonder how neon eyeshadow would react if it would be the same. All right, I'm going to take that darker color now and start working that up. I was also looking at these leaves I had on around the edges, and thought about once I'd done a layer of super tips, Crayola super tips. I'm just going to go back with another color to try to blend, and maybe we will do eyeshadow. Talking about using the eyeshadow and more the elements on the page, maybe we'll try that on one of these and see how that goes. So I am just working that dark color from the bottom up, and as I go, I obviously have less pigment on my sponge, but that's just allowing me to kind of blend it up into that lighter color. So when you think about it as makeup, you know, when you put your eyeshadows on your lid, you use the darker color in the crease, but then you kind of blend it out. But the first place that you set the applicator down, the sponge, that's where you're going to have the most concentrated pigment. And then working up, kind of like watercolor too. Wherever you set it down first, that's where the most pigment's going to be. And then you can like work it out with water so you can see it's getting lighter as I go. And I don't know, I'm going to go back and do some shading and just kind of see how some different pencils work on top on this paper. But I really think this is such a fun and easy way to do backgrounds, especially if you need something quick. And it's not as messy, in my opinion, for sure, as like soft pastels. I feel like those can get kind of messy. And I don't feel like this is as messy. And there's so many eyeshadow palettes out there on the market that have a ton of pigment colors. Now you are going to want them pigmented. If the colors don't have a good pigment, they're not going to show up on your paper. So you do want to make sure that the color you're getting or the eyeshadows that you're getting do have a pretty solid pigment in them, so that pigment will transfer to the paper. It's kind of like the difference when my sister and I were growing up. We always wanted Crayola crayons and not like the cheap budget crayons that were like just wax, basically. When you put those colors on your pages, nothing really like came of them. But man, those Crayola crayons, they performed, right? They had all the pigment and the color. So it's kind of like that. You just want, I'm not saying you've got to go out and buy super duper expensive color palettes, but you do want to make sure that you're buying palettes that have good pigment. Okay. I'm going to turn this one over and let's try some green for these leaves. I'm going to try. Let's see. All right. Let's see if we can get just a little bit of a Yeah, that works. Sorry. So I probably would have done this different had I known I was going to go in with eyeshadow on these, but you guys are going to get the idea. And this is probably where an electric eraser would be beneficial. So you could just go around these little areas, but let's see how this little guy works. Let's see, Mono, can you handle all these little spaces? Oh yeah. This little eraser is great. I don't know if you can see how tiny the nib on it is. It's like it's a Tombow, but it's 2.5. It's super, super tiny. It's their tiny eraser. I can try to put it in the description if I remember for you guys so you can just grab it, but it really does a nice job of getting into small places, or like if you're doing a gel crayon background and then you wanted to take a stencil and erase parts of it. There's a lot of things that you can do with this little eraser. If you have, a lot of people like the bokeh background, so you could take a circular stencil and put that on the page and then, erase some of those spots out. But it is a good eraser for sure. And I don't think it was too expensive. I think it was only like $5 or $6. Yeah, so this definitely can blend this in, and then you can soften up those lines if they bother you, with mix some colored pencils. It would be interesting to have a challenge to see if you could do an entire page with just makeup, but to be honest, I think it would be hard because it would be such a, well, it would kind of be like soft pastels, I guess, but I think I would want some other mediums on top for sure. Let's clean this up here. All right. What do you guys think? Are you going to try some makeup coloring this week? So fun. This made me like this page even more now, so I'm excited to go and finish it. But there is some makeup coloring. I thought about maybe I'll do this off camera and then show you guys next week or some other time, but thought about it would be really fun to use the eyeshadows in this page. I think we could mix a lot of the different blues together to kind of make her hair almost look like water. And I think that would be a lot of fun. So maybe I'll try that this week and show you guys what that looked like on my next video. But there's some ideas of coloring with makeup. And I'm sure you'll see a lot more makeup coloring from me in the future. But okay, so at the end of my weekly WIP videos, one thing I do love to end with is some rays of sunshine. And all that is some inspiration and some love out to all of you, and just for us in our community to kind of have a focus and to be putting light into our life. So I'm going to pull a card from Spirit Junkie again this week, and we're going to see just what is in store for our spirits and what we need to know. Maybe what is on our heart, but we have not reflected on yet. And I like to take these cards and sometimes create art with them or junk journal with them. And I would encourage you to do the same if you feel led. So Let's see what there's anything that wants to pop out at us. I see this one. It's calling to me. Okay. Sometimes if they don't fall, I kind of just see which one wants to stand out. So here is our card. And it says, my power lies in my peaceful presence. And I love the sunburst that is out here. And for me personally, I want you to look at this card and I just want you to like check in with your heart and ask yourself, what does this mean for me? How do I connect with this card? But for me personally, I think this is the universe saying to me, I just need to be me and be peaceful in that, that person that I am. That even though I'm doing something new and it feels a little bit awkward and it feels uncomfortable, all I have to do is show up as me. And so I'm going to continue to try to do that for all of you, but most importantly for myself, because that's where it has to start, right? That's where the roots have to go down and have to grow. So my power lies in my peaceful presence. But let's see. I'm going to grab my Posh coloring book. If you watched last week's video, you know our card was I cherish every cell in my body, and I did this page. I did not go back and write on this like I had anticipated because my week got crazy. And so I still have this page to go back and junk journal on and write on, and may do that this week or may do it in the future, but I do want to do that for sure. But let's see if there is a page that stands out for a card this week. I kind of like this one because it's got a little bit of a starburst effect. I am going to grab my temper paints again, I think. Yeah, I'm going to grab my temper paints and I will be right back. Okay. So I've got some colors here. I'm going to try to just mimic this a little bit. Let's see how it goes, but you do whatever feels good to you. This is just playing and allowing yourself to be free. I think sometimes when we get into our coloring books, you know, we've got to fill these spaces and we have to make sure we're doing, you know, all of the elements and really we have to be reminded that it's also important to play and our spirits need to play. I'm trying to see if that would be a little bit darker, but it's not. Because again, this is just free play, kind of allowing yourself a time of calm and peace. Exactly what this card says. So I am using the King Art Temper Paint Sticks, and these are a lot of fun to play with. I like using these in my power lies in my peaceful presence. I have to work on being calm and peaceful. I feel like I have one mode and it is go, go, go all the time and fast. And if I'm not doing something, I feel like I should be doing something. That is something I'm trying to work on because I know that that's not always healthy or good. And so there has to be time just to be. That's it. Nothing else. Like I tell my kids, it's good to be bored. It's good to have nothing to do sometimes. But make those sunbursts. And I would love to know how this card spoke to you. You know, what were you needing to hear from my power lies in my peaceful presence? I think it's really easy to get caught up in the world around us, how we try to show up how we think everybody else needs us to show up or maybe wants us to show up. And we lose a piece of ourselves every time we do that. So it's kind of like we're trying to recalibrate, right? In those moments of peace and reconnect to who we are. What our soul and our spirit is whispering to us in those moments. Okay, so I just had an idea as I'm doing this. I think I'm going to challenge myself this week for these larger rays that I made, that I am going to try to find times of peacefulness in my day, and I'm going to write them on those rays. I'm going to reflect on moments throughout my day that I gave myself time to have a peaceful presence, that I gave myself time to just be. And just see if they're happening or not. Like, do I just think I'm trying to have a peaceful presence? Do I just think that I'm giving myself time here and there? But maybe I need to be more intentional. Maybe that's what this card is kind of telling me, is that you need to be more intentional with your peace, because that will allow you to show up better. It's kind of like in the airplane, right? And they say, put your oxygen mask on first. It might be that kind of thing. Okay, let me grab another marker. Okay, so I have these outline markers that are kind of fun. Let's see which ones of these I'm going to do with it. This is the black one. And it comes up silver, though, in a lot of ways. All right. All right, let's see what the green ones say. Got these off Amazon for like $3, and it's obvious why. All right, well, we'll try the silver one again this week. All right, the power lies in my peaceful presence. And one of my peaceful moments might be outlining all of these other lines. I'm just putting on some music and doing it outside. I am finding that I need to connect to nature a lot more than what I am. So yeah, I don't think I'm done with this page or thinking about what I need to possibly add in my week ahead. But that kind of gives you an idea of something that you can do that is just a nice moment of creativity, but also just allows you to connect to yourself in a different way. I hope that this week ahead brings you peaceful moments. I think my spirit's calling for those peaceful moments. Sorry. I thank you for being here. I'm excited about this journey. And I am sending you all my love and sunshine. Until the next one. Bye for now.